Did you? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Nick, and MD will be on shortly, right?
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I don't know
So
where he
tonight,
at.
you guys, we've got in the room me and Gabe and Maurice will be joining us. So MD is on his way, and we have a special guest tonight, Mr. James Watkins. Hey, Coach Watkins.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. So, you guys, I like to bring heavy hitters on to discuss matters of importance with you all. So, tonight I'm bringing y'all another heavy hitter in Mr. James.
Okay, okay.
So, Mr. James is like an entrepreneur, he is a man of faith, he is coach prototype, is like what I like to call him. And so he has been in this industry for over 25 years. He has a lot of knowledge to share with you guys. So welcome, coach. Welcome to the convo.
All right, thanks for having me. We were excited and looking forward to adding some value to you and all your listeners.
Well, thank you. So okay, guys, it's April. So you know how we do. We have a certain topic that we focus on for the entire month. So this month we are focusing on financial health matters. So today we're going to talk about financial health 101, like what that looks like, what all that entails. And Mr. James is going to give you guys a lot of nuggets. So pay attention. And so, Coach, tell us a little bit about how you kind of came to your financial awareness.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you would start there. Honestly, you know what? Growing up in Muncie, Indiana, where I'm from, being raised by my mother and her mom, my grandmother. As a kid, there was never enough money, and so you just start out early on in life wondering, why some people got money and others don't. And I can remember, man, being a child and thinking, man, one day I'm going to have money, right? I didn't necessarily know how to get it or how to make it, but I knew money was pretty important. And so I did like everybody does. You go to school, you go get good grades, um, stay out of trouble and different things like that. And you choose a profession and you hope that profession basically is going to pay you a lot of money. Now, for me, I played football like thousands and millions of other, American teenagers. And, I was pretty good at it. At least that's what they told me. I was good at it, and I knew guys were going on to play professionally, and those guys made a lot of money. And so without having any type of direction or thinking about what it might take to get to that next level, I just assume if you was a good player, hey, they kind of find you, right? Like
Right.
a supermodel or something like that, the hidden talent that was found, just in some unknown territory. I'm in the middle of Muncie, Indiana, basketball land, basketball country, and thinking some football scout's going to find me. That didn't happen. So immediately I switched my plan, which was always kind of my backup plan anyway, to go into law. And, because again, lawyers made a lot of money. At least that's what I was told.
Oh my
And
gosh.
just so happened, my relative of mine uh, had a friend that was an entrepreneur that was in business. for himself. He introduces me to him. And lo and behold, I mean, it's the money industry, it's the financial industry. Intriguing topic. If you look on the Forbes magazine, you look on any type of business magazine that concerning people with wealth and high net worth individuals, the majority of those individuals are always, almost always tied to the financial industry.
Yep.
And so I thought, in fact, I asked the guy that was talking, the guy my brother-in-law introduced me to, I asked him, could you mentor me and could you teach me what you know about money? Because I was intrigued to learn about investing. I was intrigued to learn about having my money grow and creating wealth and economic empowerment. And so I started out part time, had some success part time, found that I was pretty good at it, doing something that I never imagined doing. I was pretty good at it, and it paid very well. It paid more than what I was doing working with at-risk youth full time. I'll start making more part time, and then the bug, which it was always there, it just kind of revealed itself, and I grew into it. And here I am, 26 years later, entrepreneur in business for myself, and teaching people about money.
Well, see, it's funny you say that because I always, like at an early age, mom told me, you know, you got to have your financial affairs in order. So I started helping her budget, and she was teaching me budgeting and writing checkbooks and balancing the checkbooks and making sure you have the money to pay the bills and a little bit extra and making sure you tithe. And she was teaching me all of that when I was like probably 8, 9, 10 years old. And so, but it's funny that you say you turn the law as your backup because that was my backup. Like I thought I was going to be a lawyer, but I'm not doing any of that now. And you are teaching me a lot. Like I am just blessed with the lessons that you have already taught me, and I'm looking forward to learning more. But I just really thought that your story, your expertise, um how you explain would be valuable for the community, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you on tonight. So as we go through tonight, we'll be talking about what financial health looks like, um and we'll be talking about what the definition of financial health is, the difference between wealth and net worth. We're also going to talk about the differences between assets and liabilities. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Mr. James. What's up? We're back, Pete. Hey, coach, you still riding with me?
I'm here.
Okay. Hey, fam. So, what's up, Kels and Miss T Buys and T and T? Hey, y'all. Hey, Coley. Okay, so we're gonna get into this, coach. So I need to stop calling you coach tonight. Sorry, Mr. James. um, so what is your definition of financial health?
My definition would be having a net worth that provides to you a lifestyle, whether you go to work or not. So, uh, being able to have enough money coming in, and that's different for everybody. That you can have the type of lifestyle that you want, and if you did not work for a year, your income would still be provided off that net worth goal. That's my definition of having a healthy financial situation.
So what I hear you saying is financial health is different for everybody, and they have to understand what their financial goals are, and they want to create something that gives them enough money to do what they want to do, how they want to live, be where they want to be without stressing. That's what I hear you saying.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, just by its very definition, if you have to go do anything for your money, you're not wealthy.
Mm.
Meaning, if you got to go trade time, to provide to make that income, you're not wealthy. Wealthy is I go buy an asset, which you said we're going to define. I go buy or build an asset. That asset produces money whether I'm there or not. That's wealth.
Okay. So it's funny you should say that because that was the next definition I was going to ask for. Um,
Yeah.
so I'll give everybody the dictionary definition. It is an accumulation of valuable economic resources that can be measured in terms of real goods or money value. So, Coach, Mr. James just told y'all that.
Yeah, let
um,
me let me let me expand on that because I think even the definition, and that's the problem. Uh, See, the people that wrote the dictionary isn't necessarily wealthy, and they have a hard time defining it. One of the things that changed my life in my early journey, I mean, simple, it's a bestseller, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. He simply defined that asset is something that put money in your pocket, and liabilities are things that take money out of your pockets. And once you truly understand what an asset is and a liability is, and you focus your energy on building assets and buying assets, then you'll become wealthy.
mm. So, when you're working with people and helping people, how do you get them on that page to understand how to generate the wealth?
Yeah. So most of my clients that I work with are middle income clients. It's two different schools of thought. When you talk about being financially okay from a middle income standpoint and being creating wealth. So I guess for the average consumer that I go out there with, I teach them the basics because that's what most people need. The middle class is so underserved by the financial industry. So I teach them basic things such as, man, making sure that they got the right uh, income protection or life insurance, making sure that they got a savings plan that pays them potentially a lot better than like a CD or bank account or something like that, and then teach them that they got a retirement plan. Those are good basics for the average person out there. Teaching them how to avoid debt or get out of debt and different things like that. But now, when you talk about creating wealth, truly, like I said, you're gonna have to have an asset. You're gonna have to have some assets. You're gonna have to either build an asset or you're gonna have to buy an asset. And so, if you come from money, the reason why the rich stay rich is because it's easy for a guy that owns one McDonald's to, go out and get another one. Like one guy, Ed Bailey, when I first moved to Dallas, he had 23 or 25 McDonald's stores. So McDonald's ended up taking over Boston Market, and they wanted to open up more. They gave Ed 13.
Mm.
They gave him 13 stores. Why? Because he'd proven with them 22 to 25 McDonald's stores that he knew how to turn a profit. Well, those stores are assets to him. And a lot of us don't come from money, right? And so you're going to have to go build an asset. A lot of times they say you can have either money to go build equity, or you can have what they call sweat equity, where, man, you go in, you put in the work, and you go build something that, you and your family, could potentially, live off of for years and years and years. You're building a business. And I'm probably giving you a lot more than what you probably want,
No,
because
we need it.
but let me just tell you this: one of the things about our country that I know our school system don't really do a good job of teaching us about is we're born in a capitalist society, but nobody teaches us how to be capitalists.
Mm.
And so very few people understand capitalism. So, capitalism says, hey, if you can solve a person's problem out here, right? Like, we all carry cell phones today. Remember, I'm sure you're old enough, where we used to be stuck at home and you'd be on that core phone. You'd be like, hey, I'll call you when I get home, or when I get to the next pay phone, I'll page you or whatever. Somebody said, you know what? It'd be a good idea if you could have a phone with you at all times, wherever I go. Then came the mobile phone, like, wow, right? That
Mhm.
person got very wealthy. Then somebody said, and I was completely wrong, but I remember when they came out, and they came out with the camera phones. I said, man, nobody wants to take a picture of themselves. That ain't gonna sell. Yeah, little did I know.
Wow.
And now you got companies like Apple, that, dominate the market, in that industry, Samsung, because they went out there and found a problem that, the consumer wanted solved. And because they could solve problems, they got paid a lot of money for doing it.
Wow.
Same way in sports, sports, NFL, people want to be entertained. We love it. I do. I'm sitting there like everybody else, and that's my team and different things like that. So I think the way you become wealthy is you got to find a problem that people have and bring solutions, create a business around that. That'll be the quickest way to start building wealth.
Okay. So we already got a question from the fam. You just talked about one of the ways to grow wealth is to find something and bring to the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Can you expound on other ways you have people grow their wealth?
Uh, I mean, there's like compound interest and saving money. If you're going to work your typical 9 to 5, and if you have enough money to set aside, you can start buying assets. Again, assets are things that put money in your pockets. And when I say that, I mean like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, your 401k. I met with a client earlier today, and I asked her, are you participating? 61 years old. Are you participating in your company's 401k? She says to me, no, I'm not. She says, but they match me 5%. I said, so let me understand this. They tell you if you put up $1, they give you $1. That immediately earns you 100% rate of return. But why, she wasn't doing that, I don't know. But those are some examples of ways that all around you, those are opportunities to create wealth. Maybe not as fast as you like, but those are good ways, good viable ways to create wealth. Participating in your 401k, start investing in stocks, start investing in mutual funds and things like that.
So, what is the average cost of starting an investment? Because I know we're going to get that question. Like, I'm already seeing questions coming.
You have companies out there that will, open up mutual fund account for $50 a month. I if you're willing to consistently invest on a monthly basis. Now keep in mind, $50 a month. If you're 45 years old, that's not going to get you anywhere too fast. But it does get you into the habit of prioritizing wealth creation and building wealth. And then you have other companies out there for $1,000. You can get into a mutual fund or something like that. So, I'd say a starter fee is anywhere from $50 a month to $1,000 one time investment.
Okay. And then you had spoken already about assets and liabilities. So, what would you consider an asset and what do you consider a liability? I think we all understand that liabilities are things that you owe and assets are things that add to your overall value. But how do you get someone to understand the difference between the two?
Again, I go back to the definition that I gave you. If it puts money in your pocket, it's an asset. So when you buy a house and you rent it out to somebody and they make the mortgage payment and you make a profit, that's an asset. I bought a house. My wife loves her home. Nobody lives here. I'm the only one that pays the mortgage. It doesn't put money in my pocket. It's a liability.
Gotcha.
Period. Those
Gotcha.
golf clubs you got, that's a liability. Doesn't put any money in your pocket. Those children that you have, those are liabilities. One day they we hope, we invest in their education and things like that. We hope they become an asset, but they quite simply take money out of your pocket. You go, buy a laundromat, and people come and pay you to use that laundromat. That's an asset to you.
Okay. MD, do you have any thoughts on our discussion tonight?
Oh, hey. Okay.
See, I told you guys MD was in the building. He's here. He's here.
Girl, we're working through tech stuff. We finally got it done. I'm good. No, I'm really listening and taking notes. It sounds good.
Okay. Um, Mr. James, what are your thoughts on programs like Acorn, Robin Hood? Should we be participating in those? Do you think they're good for us? Or do you think we can get lost in the weeds because we're not sure what we're doing?
Well, I'll tell you how I answer this. The average person working without a financial advisor averages about 2.8% in the last 20 years in the marketplace. Working with an advisor, the average person is average 11.8%. Uh, but I get it. I get, man, being able to invest is so intriguing on your own and doing things on your own and get your tips is there. I, I think it's a good, like educational step for a person to take that, to do those things. I can't advise them either way. But man, I think you need to find somebody that you can trust, that can give you advice, that know what they're doing. Meaning, I'm talking about a licensed professional and they've proven that they've grown people's assets and followed their advice. So it's kind of like this, Adrian. You got your survival money, right? That's what it takes to put food, on the table, keep a roof over your head, provide the basic necessities. You should not be gambling or playing around with that money. You need that to survive. Okay.
Okay.
Then you have another level of income over and above that you're working to build your retirement. And that's like kind of like your stable money. Man, that's where your 401ks and things like that, you need to, your retire IRAs and things like that, you need to open up so that you make sure you guarantee that your retirement because you're just practicing good, sound principles. And anything over and above that, man, go out there, get some good, whatever tips, stocks, whatever you want to get into, other investments, real estate, different things like that you can get into and have at it. So hopefully that answers that.
Okay. Um, we will be referring people later on. We will be posting referral links to our social media platforms. So yes, family, we have referrals for you. And yes, we will lead you to a reputable person or people. So we will post the referrals to you, or I will send them to you individually through Messenger. Okay, we're going to take another quick break and we'll come back and chop it up some more with Mr. James. We're back. So, MD.
Yes, yes.
So, MD, what is sticking in your mind right now about everything Mr. James is giving us in with these nuggets of wisdom?
I tell you, just the thought of investments has always just kind of been on my mind for a long time. Um, that budgeting questions, I know it's probably another show, but just different little things around finances. But investment just kind of stuck out. So a little bit of what he was talking about was resonating with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Gabe,
Hmm.
your thoughts? Because
Yeah.
you're my young one.
Yeah.
You're my little
So
brother in the room.
I know I mean for me, I've been blessed to have a lot of financial support in my life. Not really support, but I'm talking about like just examples. And so I've been taught a lot of the stuff that he mentioned already.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that like I do want to know more about the investing side of things. Like I don't really know where to put my money sometimes. Like the Robin Hood side, whatever, however you invest,
Right.
Bitcoin, all of that type of stuff. Like I would love to know more about that.
All right, Mr. James, you have the floor, sir.
And look, help me understand the question. So, where to invest?
Yeah, like what is there, are there any specific stocks that you would recommend, or do you invest in stocks, or like what would be your take on just investing in general?
Yeah, well, first off, I mean, it'd be kind of hard to take a shot in the dark and give kind of like blanket advice and different things like that. Because of licensing and things like that, I'm kind of restricted by the industry
Gotcha.
not to make certain recommendations and not to say certain things.
Makes sense.
So I'd have to really do a like one-on-one type consultation,
Mm,
do an assessment of each client's profile, and then from there I could make a recommendation if that makes sense.
makes sense.
But I will just talk about some things that's in the news. I'm not recommending it. I'm just telling you some things that's in the news that you could go look at, right? Like here, it says Chipotle stock is so hot, the company's board approved a 50-for-1 stock split.
Oh,
Now, I eat at Chipotle often, as do many other people. The question is, whatever you're using, do you own it, or are you just a consumer? So if you're gonna be there all the time, it'd probably be a good idea in cases to own some of these popular companies out here with all of this knowledge out here and access to different financial profiles. Just look at what people use. Look at the products and services people use. They use Apple computers. They use Samsung phones.
Hmm.
If people are going to go do business at Walmart, you probably want to own some Walmart, right? And so that's why when you sit down with an advisor or either on yourself, just think in those terms, man, let me go look at these businesses. I know several popular things right now. The trends are like AI, different AI businesses out there. Like NVIDIA would be a good company. Not telling you to recommend it. I'm not recommending it to you, but if you look at the track history of its stock, they seem to be doing pretty well.
Okay.
okay.
Thank you for that.
Um, we have a question. How do you evaluate stock or companies? Miss Mary has purchased the stock of all the products that she buys, but what's a good rule of thumb on how to evaluate?
I heard Warren Buffett say, he doesn't buy the stock, he buys the company. So just like I just said, like about Chipotle, like, man, if that's a good business model and it's gonna be around for a while, might be a good idea, for you to look at that. Another, I guess, kind of Buffett, who is the greatest investor of all time, he's been dubbed. You know, he says most people don't listen to him. The question was, how could you go tell everybody everything that you know about investing in stocks? He said because most people won't go do what I tell them to do because I got a get rich slow program. Most people, what they're really saying is, tell me the one stock I can go buy today, and I'm gonna be rich tomorrow. And that's just it's unlikely in most cases. So I like, for me personally, for my own self, not recommended. This is not stock advice or investing advice, but for me, I like a slow, methodical approach to investing. Companies that's going to be around for a long time, big staples in our economy. So when I look at a mutual fund for myself, those are the things that I'm looking at, man. I like Walmart. I mean, I like Target, man. The parking lot is full every time you drive past those guys.
Yeah.
And slow and steady wins the race. It's not necessarily the hottest thing that's out there, but it's being consistent and consistently invested. So again, not making any recommendations, just kind of telling you my thought process.
I have one quick question. We're talking a little bit about investments and talking about all those stores that you mentioned. In my mind, Amazon is probably the mammoth of them all. And not suggesting that you recommend or suggest or anything like that, but just what are your thoughts about, even investing in Amazon at this point?
Man, it's a big business. I mean, man, if you think about, I was watching something on TV with the Jeff Bezos story, and you think about how they got started and basically how they opened up the world. I mean, you just got to think, that could be possibly around for, the next, how many ever years. So, I mean, Amazon is a behemoth. I don't know if that business has reached its potential. You see what I'm saying? So it might be
Correct.
something worth looking into.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you were talking about being slow and methodical or fast and aggressive. How as a person do I um come to terms with how I want to grow my money?
Well, it's going to come down to philosophy. Like you said, coming to terms of how you want to grow your money. You know, man, like investing long term in these different markets that we're talking about, the S&P 500 and things like that. It's proven time and time again over 70, 80 years of data has proven that consistently and over a long period of time that you're going to get a positive rate of return. So you have to ask yourself, um, am I the type of person that if I go to Six Flags, am I jumping on, the big monstrous roller coaster? Because can I handle, do I have the fortitude to handle if it all goes away tomorrow? Or do I want to get on that medium size roller coaster that's fun, but it's steady, it's safe, or whatever, my risk in my life? It really boils down to your personality and your profile and what you want. And as an advisor, Adrian, that's what I find out from my clients. That's why I got to talk to each person individually to say, who are you? It's not so much just about the stock or about the investment, the mutual funds or whatever, but it's about who are you as a person? What's your profile? What's your risk tolerance? Because if you can't handle it, then you probably shouldn't be in something real aggressive that's gonna, have a lot of volatility. And if you're more consistent and more conservative in your approach, then you're probably more of a long-term growth investor like me.
Okay. What are your thoughts on ETFs versus common stock?
Two different ball games. Either, I mean, they're not bad. It's just like asking me what's the difference between basketball and football. I mean, both work, just two different games. Common stock, if you find good ones, it's good stock. ETFs, good investments for people out there. A lot of companies got some good exchange, funds out there. It's two different ball games, but they can get you where you're trying to get to. Again, it's based on the client and the prospective investor, what they're trying to achieve. Inside of a fund, more diversity. Diversity is a good thing.
Hmm.
That's all I can say. Diversity, the more diverse you can be, the better. when it comes to investing.
Okay.
Okay.
Quick question. Do you have any thoughts about REITs, REITs, and are they fairly stable?
Oh man, I'm not. I'm familiar with REITs, of course, but that's not my forte. That's not what I'm licensed in, so I can't answer is it stable or whatever. I can just tell you from everything that I've seen out there, I wouldn't have if you know the business and you know somebody that's in that industry, I wouldn't have any concern feeling like it was speculative or it was something that I thought was real risky. Man, real estate for a long time has being one of the better assets to buy over years and years and years. Because people gonna need houses. They're gonna always need somewhere to live and different things like that. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Well, as we start to wind down, I'm going to ask Mr. James for the one piece of advice he would give someone who is new to this whole financial health picture. Um, and then we're gonna leave you guys with his definition and his thoughts on, you know, preparing for your financial health. And then next week, we're going to come back and we are going to talk and delve into how you save money. So next week, we're only talking about saving. This week, we were introducing you to like what financial health looks like. How do you know what your net worth is? How do you know where your assets are? What kind of assets? We will be posting referrals and references to all kinds of things this month. So, Mr. James, can you leave us with some parting thoughts?
Yeah, I think, for a person that's trying to get started out and learn about it and investing, you need to get with a professional, um, a professional advisor. Tell them what your goals are, what your plans are, and let them help you. It's so much information out there, like, on social media and YouTube and even calls like this and different things like that. Nobody could really give you proper investment advice without knowing you. They have to know you, your goals, your risk tolerance, and different things like that. So, even anything that I've said tonight, again, I'm telling you, it's not a solicitation. I'm not recommending any of those companies or whatever. I'm just kind of telling you my thought process. But you need a good advisor that can sit down with you. And like anything, you get what you pay for, man. So, if you want to learn a lot and you want to create wealth, that's where those licensed professionals come in and help you at and help you build that portfolio and those strategies to get there because it is so much out there and there's a lot of great information out there. But man, without having a good team and a good partner and a mentor, you could definitely make some mistakes. And I would hate anybody to, go in the wrong direction. So
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. James, for jumping on here and sharing your knowledge tonight. MD, do you have any parting words and closing thoughts?
I'm just kind of echoing what Adrian just said. Just thank you again for just sharing your thoughts. And again, I think it's good that we're having discussions about finances. Sometimes we're kind of scared to get into the topic, and
Mhm.
I get scared because we don't feel ready right at the moment. But sometimes it is the long and the slow journey to start to build wealth and start to create something, for us and for our children that will really last.
Mhm.
Thank you, MD. Gabe?
Yeah, I mean, again, just piggybacking over what MD just said, like I think finance is such an important topic, and so to dive this deep into it, talk about risk tolerance and diversification and all of that type of thing, all of those type of things, is crucially important to us having financial generational wealth, and so yeah, super important topic, and I'm excited to continue.
Well, I am really excited to continue this discussion, but for your homework, ladies and gentlemen, Your homework tonight is to really kind of sit back and think about what is your goal for your financial health? Like, what is it that you want to accomplish for you and your village? Like, what do you want for you and your family? And so your homework is to really sit down and write down what your financial goals are. And then the second part of your homework is, as Mr. James told us to do, is find you a professional, because you can't embark on this journey by yourself. You don't know everything. You have to know that you need help. So, Mr. James, thank you for joining us on the convo tonight. Nick and MD are very, very grateful that you showed up tonight. And so, fam, we're gonna leave you with this same financial time, same
Oh,
financial place, and we will see you guys next week, 9 p.m. right here.